Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and once again I have to fly in the morning because the temperatures get up to 100 degrees, which is lower than they were earlier in the summer, but it's too hot to fly a drone with a LiPo battery in it at those higher temperatures. So what I'm going to do today is for the last 4 years on many of my videos I've looked out over this area, and there's these two ponds, or I guess you would say huge ponds, and sometimes they have water in them and sometimes they don't. And from where my perspective was, I thought, well, they're probably for irrigation or something like that. So now that I'm out within a mile or so of them, I thought I'm going to fly over there and take a look and see what they are and what they look like. And as always, I like to fly over the roads. The only time I've ever had a drone come down, it landed in the road. I had to repair it, but it was easy to get to. So here we go. And we're going to go up here to this road that's going to run along parallel to the canal, and then we'll fly over and take a look at them. In the meantime, I will tell you some flying stories as we go along, and I'll just kind of generalize these as flying in and around clouds, okay? Because that's one of the things that I really enjoyed doing. So we'll start with one time when I was out cloud dancing, and I had somebody with me, and they were not the lightest person in the world, and so that puts a little more strain on the plane, and it can't climb quite as easily. But I don't remember exactly what I was doing, but a lot of times I would come down from a larger cloud that I had been dancing around and dive down and then come back up over the top of a smaller cloud and fly over the top of it. And on this one particular time, I came down off of a large cloud and pulled up and started going over a smaller cloud. But because of the weight in the plane, it was getting real close to whether or not I was going to stall as I came up over the top of the cloud. And you do not want to stall into a cloud. Going into a spin over a cloud is like committing suicide. So anyway, when that happened, though, I saw something I'd never recognized before. When you're looking down on the top of a huge cloud, remember the cloud's there because the air is rising. And when you look down, it's like looking into a boiling pot of water because what's coming up from underneath is pushing everything over out of the way. And that's how that cloud looked. It just reminded me of looking down into a boiling pot of water. So here's those ponds, those great big ponds, and as you can see, they do have a little bit of water in them, and so I don't know, if they were for, I guess they're for irrigation, but they're not. They don't have any water in them today. So we'll fly down here and take a closer look. By the way, I want to see if I can actually ride my bicycle on these roads and get across the canal to the other side. So we'll check that out. Anyway, another time, I had my daughter with me, and we were cloud dancing, and we flew along, and there was this big bowl, a cloud that you're looking down on the top was like a big, deep cereal bowl. So I thought, well, let's just fly around the inside of that cereal bowl. So anyway, we flew around, and of course in the process we were descending and the bowl was getting smaller and smaller. Finally I had to just dive into the cloud, and of course when you do, you just watch your instruments, and pretty soon you pop out on the other side. And what's strange is when you were on top of the cloud you felt like you were over something, and when you pop out the side of the cloud you realize you're not over anything. It's like 5,000 feet down or whatever it was. And let me see. Okay, now here's this bridge, which I can see by looking close. I'll zoom in, that I can actually ride my bike across there and then ride down the other side, the other side of the canal. So that's a mystery solved. Let me see. That's One other thing I did one time is I was flying along and there was this little puffy cloud out in front of me. Of course, they're bigger than they look. And I thought, well, I'm going to fly right through that cloud. So I flew through it, and I thought, I'm going to fly through it again. So I circled around and came back. And believe it or not, because of the dew point of the air, I had left a hole in the cloud. That was kind of fun. Another time, I was flying home from Pendleton to Pasco, from Lewiston, Idaho, to Pasco with my wife. Now we're going to zoom in and take a closer look, and you'll help us realize how large those ponds are. I mean, they are not small, and they're made to hold a lot of water. So anyway, we were flying home at night, and when you get up to like 5,000 feet or so, and you've left Lewiston, Idaho, you can actually see the tower, the rotating beacon at the tower in Pasco. And so, now I don't know why I did that, but anyway, I did that. So we were flying along, and by the way, if you'll notice now, there is a huge wall that they put up, and that's probably to prevent water coming down from the mountain and contain it for flood. And there's another wall further over there, as you can see. So they've years ago they set up for flood prevention. Anyway, we were flying along. It was nighttime. We could see the rotating beacon, and they don't seem to get closer, but you know you're getting closer at 100 miles an hour. All of a sudden, all the lights went out. I mean, the beacon light went out, and we also ran into a whole bunch of turbulence. Because what we didn't know is there was a cloud out in front of us at our altitude, and you can't see it at night. And so it turned out that we flew right into the cloud, and of course it's turbulent inside the cloud. So what I had to do then was just start diving down to get underneath of the cloud, and sure enough, there we could see it. Now, I want you to take a close look here. Get a good look at this picture, because this is someplace I've flown before. And back in January of 2018, I flew my Bebop 2 on a flight plan to go from my favorite park up to the power lines that go along the canal. And sure enough, this is where it turned around. And what scared me was I didn't realize I made the turnaround point so close to the to the power lines. But there they are, just right down below me and right in front of me. So anyway, it turned around, and when I looked at that video when I got the thing back home, I thought, I guess maybe I was just blessed that day. Yeah, that was really close. So anyway, been here, and there it is again. You can see that's where I turned around, right there in that spot. So it's like my Mavic 2 took me out to meet an old friend out in the desert. So anyway, so we were flying at night, like I said, and we ran into a cloud. All right, let me see. There should be another one that I could talk. Oh, okay. When we went to California to get my brother's plane, we were flying along, and we had to land at Bend, Oregon to get a weather, to fill up and get a weather forecast. And they told us between where we were and where we wanted to go, there was a big, huge cloud bank. And the only way for us to, if we wanted to continue, was to fly west out over the coast and fly down the ocean for a little ways, because it wasn't all that big, and then get back onto our course. So we said, okay, we'll do that. So we take off, and we're flying along, and I thought, I really don't want to fly all the way around this thing, and I don't know what I was thinking. I probably wasn't. But anyway, so we're flying along, and there's this other plane, this twin engine that goes past us, and this big wall of clouds is up in front of us. And so we're flying right toward it, looking at this big wall of clouds, and that twin engine, he flies right into the wall, because he had IFR, and we just VFR. So I thought, well, what are we going to do? And would you believe it? I looked down to my, like about 30 degree out from straight down, and about 10 o'clock out my window, and there was a hole in the clouds below us, because we're above an overcast, and down there was a hole in the clouds below us that you could see sunlight on the ground. So I just said, okay, guys, hang on. I put it into a spiraling slip, and we followed that hole all the way to the ground. Not all the way to the ground, but all the way down from 10,000 feet to, I don't know what the altitude was down there, but we came out somewhere between 500 and 1,000 feet above the ground. And we flew our course and followed our course, and it wasn't but just a few minutes until we were out from underneath that huge cloud that we had just come out of. So anyway, there's some flying stories, and I figured out that the world is a lot smaller than I thought it was, and I'm not that far from where I used to live. But so there was an old flying spot that I've been to before. Well, I want to thank you for watching the video, and God bless.